I found that President Trump was the first person who actually talked to us as with the information we wanted to hear. It wasn't a bunch of fluffy lip service.
Mm-hmm.
Our foreign relations policies. President Trump was just matter of fact.
This is part 4 of my conversation with Liz Harris. This time we talk about Stacey Burk and her Supreme Court case.
This is how our country is being taken advantage of. These are the ways in which we can improve the United States of America. You know, we're the leader of the free world. We should stop being taken advantage. So I have great respect for that man. And I'm going to tell you, that is what got me interested in politics 5 years ago.
Yeah, so you opened up the box to the patriots.
Right.
The Make America Great Again.
I'm a Trump Republican through and through.
As you talk about Trump, tell me about the Supreme Court case with Stacey Burk versus Ducey, which is up on the crimeofthecentury2020.com. They can research it.
So this is filed as of March 10th as a petition to the U.S. Supreme Court. And the petition is basically an appeal. Stacey Burk was denied her right to vote because she was removed from the voter roll inappropriately. And she has merit and she has standing. The problem is that the lower courts were saying, well, you didn't vote, so you don't have standing. Well, she also has another Arizona Supreme Court from 2010 that basically gives her standing for this Supreme Court case. So where the marriage between Stacey and I happened is I didn't meet her until just this past February. So she found it very interesting that her vote was, her registration was eliminated. And yet here we have all these phantom sleeper voters actually voting. So not only was her vote canceled, but then it even made it worse because now we have all this data showing all these people who voted. And, the list of where people vote from, I mean, it's amazing. Post office boxes, commercial buildings, government buildings, not just churches, but churches, chickens, sports arenas, playgrounds, fast food restaurants, middle schools, high schools, rest areas, storage units, empty lots, undeveloped land, and addresses that simply don't exist. So that's where our data comes in to her lawsuit. So right now, basically, she's suing the governor of the state, the secretary of state, the 5 county board of supervisors, and the past recorder, Adrian Fontes. And then they have 30 days to respond. And then we're just hoping that the Supreme Court, basically, they won't hear it. What they would do is they would send it back to either Pinal County courts for an evidentiary trial or to the Supreme Court. And that's what we want. We want an evidentiary trial because what the other side is screaming right now is you have not won a single court case and you have not presented the evidence. And it's because we haven't had an opportunity to present the evidence.
And you have the evidence tied to this case with those plane records, the flight records of boxes.
My understanding is that many of these flight logs have been scrubbed. An Arizona representative explained that to me. That's my understanding. Stacey actually has all of this data stored, backed up. She had a tragic thing happen to her 20 plus years ago. She has recorded every conversation since. So Stacey's got the data, and she's got. The other thing she has right now, control of those shredded ballots in Arizona, created a little bit of friction among a lot of us because we want her to turn them over.
That's right.
Hostage.
She can reach out to you. She can reach out to me, and we'll hook her up with the right people. I feel safe that she has them. So I'm saying, we'll get her to give a proper handoff with no pressure, Stacey. Once all that evidence, if the Supreme Court pushes it back to Pinal County, then all that evidence gets entered into our legal record the first time.
Yes and no. Let me tell you why no. So Stacey is a third-year law student. You submit your petition to the Supreme Court. It's typically about 100 pages. Do you want to know how big the box that we sent them was? 1,400 pages. We put all our evidence in there because Stacey is not an attorney. So she took a liberty to say, here's the evidence, Supreme Court. Now, technically, they should scan all 1,400 pages and put that in the link to what Stacey submitted. And then that cannot be censored. Now, there is one person's name that inadvertently didn't get redacted, but she's okay with that.
So still, that's all good news on that front. Still, it hasn't been rejected. It hasn't been dealt with yet. Any idea, any dates on that, on them getting back to you?
That's okay, because of all those people being sued. They have 30 days to respond. Sure. So once they respond, then it might be some public pressure, letting more people know about the Supreme Court case. Yeah, because the Supreme Court still has decisions to make, and they got to start making some of the right decisions now.
Yeah, I know. I hope they just look at it. Would be nice. We need to get the right people to look at it. And you said this case in particular was geared toward Barrett and Kavanaugh to get them involved, right? Okay.
Right. And I don't know the legal terminology, but there's something that Barrett says is so important. What it is, I know it's basically when a case has been appealed, basically standing true to that decision, to that precedent.
Stare decisis.
Yes. How do you do that?
I've studied Supreme Court cases forever.
Oh, so you're so much better at this than me.
It just means standing. They're saying, even if it was decided wrong 20 years ago, they'll quote stare decisis and say, therefore it stands because it has we once stood on it. Right.
And that's the Stacey Burk Arizona Supreme Court decision of 2010 that has stare decisis. Did I say that? Okay.
That's right. That's what it is. Stare decisis. Or as my friend Frank Beckwith says, he goes, stare decisis, stare deschmisis. He's another one. There's all these legal scholars that they're split on whether if we should go with that. Because, in the case of Dred Scott are saying that minorities have 3/5 of a vote, they tried doing standing on that. And they go, no, that was wrongly decided. So we undermine that. But on Roe v. Wade and stuff like that, they're all going to come out with stare decisis is what they're going to try to keep it with. So that's just where my expertise is more in Roe, is where I've studied all this. Okay, so good news on the Supreme Court. They can look up that actual file if you go to crimeofthecentury2020.com, and you'll see a bunch of little hot links up there. One of them is for legal cases. You can actually look at the document that was submitted to the Supreme Court by Stacey Burk, and with some help for some great legal-minded friends to carefully put that together. This thing has been put together in a way that Sidney Powell's were not, in a way that Lynn Wood's were not, that it is kind of aimed and catered so that the court justices will not be as likely to say it doesn't have standing.
Correct.
That was part 4. We will conclude this conversation with part 5 tomorrow. In the meanwhile, click the link to check out Stacey Burk's Supreme Court case. Subscribe. I'm Doug TenNapel in exile.